Hello and welcome back to the ministry Love, Faith, Peace, and Blessings. And today we're going to be talking about being in warfare and stretching into your purpose. This has been a season of preparation. Everybody likes to say, "This is a season of preparation, this is a season of preparation, this is a season of preparation." You do realize that the season of preparation is the time in which you are most going to deal with warfare? Because in your preparation, you're going through a series of gaining knowledge, taking the knowledge of what you gain, applying it, preparing with it, and putting it into its containers and containments in which it needs to be stored in. And then it's the process of being stretched in the application of it, because you are applying through tests, through allowed warfare, through allowed things. People sit there and they be like, "Oh my God, why am I under so much supernatural attack? Why in the world is this happening?" God gave you the information to prepare you. One, you prayed. Two, He gave you what was necessary to prepare. Three, He puts you through the application process while stretching you in that application process. Four, now it's time to dump the junk. Because if you're going to go into this new thing, you got to be prepared to walk into the new thing. What are you holding on to that you no longer need? Now, a lot of people want to skip it. A lot of people want to jump it, leap over it, get around it. But in the realness of it, you cannot. It's a process. It's a life process. It's a thing that which we do in everything, but nobody really notices it. Remember when you were going to school? Remember when you had to do homework? Remember after you did that homework, you had to take a test? Remember all of that? And most people sit there and think that, "Oh, well, that was in school. I don't got to do that." Yes, you do. Life will give you tests, whether you want to be in them or not. It's your choice as to how you take that information and apply it that you learned when you were preparing for what it was that you have been praying for. And some of y'all be praying for stuff that y'all don't realize you be praying for, because you be saying stuff out your mouth in a negative tone, thinking that you just talking, thinking you just la gaggy with your friends, and don't realize that you're speaking word curses over your blessings by saying little stupid statements. I'm about to say a statement and I'm immediately rebuke it. Y'all know when you laugh, oh my God, you killing me with that. I rebuke that and cancel it by the fire of the blood of Jesus Christ. There ain't nothing that's killing me. You see how it's little stuff. It's that little teeny stuff. Or when you sit up there and say, "Oh my God, that person makes me so sick." I curse that at the root. Illness and sickness and disease is not part of my promise, nor shall I have it in my life. Jesus took 39 stripes for my healing. No. But you see how easy it slips out your mouth? Somebody sit up there and ask you about your finances or your money or what you're dealing with right now. Somebody else sit up there and say, "I ain't got no money right now." And some will say, "I'm just broke." No, you are not broke. You are temporarily out of funds, and when the funds come, you will replenish them, refresh it, and put it back to where it belongs. But it's temporarily out of place. This morning, I was looking at my computer, and it was a storage space, and it was saying, "Do you want to temporarily take this out of what it was?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to do that." Because see, the thing that you don't understand is sometimes you're holding it. You're holding on to things, fears, frustrations, all this type of stuff. And God has you go through a preparation season where He shows you the steps. And as you learn, you begin to grow. And growth means release of old things. And it's so funny because my coach was talking about this yesterday, but I even touched on it a couple of days ago. And it's time to let go of some old stuff. And it happens every single time. As sometimes y'all are dealing with warfare that y'all don't need to deal with, but you're dealing with it because you're holding on to things that you shouldn't be holding on to. People, places, things, scenarios, old mindsets, past things, past traumas, and you're just holding on to that. And you got a death grip on it. I can't lose another thing. It's like, you're not losing anything that you're not supposed to. And another young woman I was listening to the other day, she literally was talking about this. Sometimes people be in warfare about things that they holding on to stuff that they ain't supposed to be holding on. That wasn't your portion to have in the first place, but you trying to keep holding on to it unnecessarily, and it's no longer a necessary. What is wrong with my tongue this morning? No longer a necessity for you to keep that. Maybe you needed that then, but you have grown now, and because you have grown, you are actually in a state of insubordinance by holding on to it. You're being disobedient. Perfect example. Some of us people, we Christians, especially the prayer warriors, shout it out, y'all, if y'all a prayer warrior. You prayer warrior, and you ugly pray when you pray into warfare. People don't need to be around you when you start praying into your warfare, because it's like you put your war boots, combat boots, military gear on, and you went in. You start cutting things up in the spirit. And when you went into your military war space, that's like, I need to go into a quiet place where can't nobody see me do this, because when I go into war, it's like what you see in them murder films where the person is a strategic killer, where they got to take out their scalpels and their surgical equipment to make sure that they are strategically cutting everything up. That's the way I pray in the spirit. No wonder I be having dreams. As of lately, I've been having dreams about massacring murders, and I'm like, what the heck is this? But I know what that is. Don't worry about it. When you have dreams like that, this is spiritual warfare understanding. When you're having dreams like that, that means God in the spirit is taking out some stuff. And I noticed that the things that were being murdered were people that had bad motives. These were the ones that were being massacred in these dreams. And I'm like, all I have to say, I done said it before multiple times in multiple videos. If y'all got anybody in your life that you have a grudge against, that has done you wrong, people that done did you wrong in the past, people that done did, you better start praying for those people. You better start praying for those people. I'm not kidding. Because God's about to go in, and when He goes in, His wrath is serious. So you better start praying mercy over those people. Perfect example. I had some stuff happen with me and some family members a few years back, and they acted and treated me rather viciously when I was living with them. One ended up in a serious car accident not 3 weeks ago, and she was in the hospital in intensive care. They had her in shock trauma. Go and pray for your enemies. I know some of y'all was praying for that stuff to happen. No, you need to pray for your enemies right now, because God, we don't know what God's going to do to these people. Some of them are going to live through their judgment and come to Jesus. Some of them are just going to die. Some are just going to drop straightly dead. Some of them are going to suffer with cancer and illness, sickness, and disease before they just die. I was talking to somebody the other day in email, and I said, people do not realize God was sovereign during the time frame in which he had Noah build the boat. But everybody knows God is sovereign. God created earth in a thought one day. But he took the time to take the detailing over that 6 to 7 days later. The seventh day he rested. But he took the time for the details in everything else. Do you not realize when God took the people out of the earth, when he washed the earth out, he could have in a snap of his finger took everybody out in one move? Because he God like that, right? He God like that. But he made the decision to, one, put the people that he wanted, people and animals he wanted on that boat, and he let those people that remained have a slow, painful, horrific death. Sit there and think for a moment about how these people that have been in these major flood areas, the types of diseases that occurred through illnesses, sickness, the water from sewage pipes and all that kind of stuff, just laying stagnantly around, all this kind of stuff. And think about that back in the day. Dirt, disease, illness, food, negative food, all that kind of stuff. These people and the water, because remember, it was rain. So it rained for long periods of time and literally washed out. You see anybody in scenarios where they are in cities that it's had a heavy rainstorm and how that water rose? The people that die in those types of situations, that ain't a cool way to go. And he had that happen for 40 days. That water rose for 40 days straight. God could have took those people off the earth and they would have suffered nothing in that moment. You still could have dropped them in hell, but they wouldn't have suffered at all. He made sure that they suffered for 40 days, drowned, went through all kinds of illness. You know what happens to the body if it's in water for too long? You know what happens if you sit in the tub for longer than an hour? Think about people walking through water that they could not get through. The types of sores, pusses, pestilences that came into them sores for their evil deeds. You better pay for the people that have done you wrong. But what was my point? That was not the point. My point is this. If somebody is doing you wrong, if you saw somebody, you saw them provoking your spouse, coming after your spouse, coming after your kids, coming after a family member that you love dearly, a friend that you are in love with dearly, are you going to sit there and say, I'm a prayer warrior, I'm going to stand here and watch this happen to this person? I'm going to stand here and watch it. I'm going to wait till I get to my prayer clause. When I get to my prayer clause, boy, am I going to go in. Are you going to stand there and go in right there? I got a prayer language. I got a prayer language, and I can sing in my prayer language too. I've been singing in my prayer language for at least 3-4 years. When I'm in my most frustrated mode, hint, if you end up finding yourself in frustration, Coach said this slightly yesterday. She made the point of saying that when you find yourself in frustration, you're at the brink of a change. You're in the midst of things changing around you, or you are no longer satisfied where you are, but you haven't quite gotten where you are going. When you are sitting in a state of frustration as things are transitioning into something new. If you're in frustration, sit there, especially if you have your prayer language, and pray in your prayer language. I have seen it happen multiple times. Sit there and pray in your prayer language. 9 times out of 10, somebody will come to you and bring you the answer. The answer will come to you spiritually. Somebody that you listen to will state the thing in which is the instruction in which you need to do in that time frame. But the answer will come to you in that state of warfare. You just got to sit in it and stand still. A lot of people are in a phase right now, and you got to be careful, because this is the statement I'm going to give you, especially when you're in warfare in this type of season. Our warfare is ending though, but the enemy's still going to try it. He's going to find little things, but what will happen is that you'll find you will be in the midst of something, and you'll notice these little attacks coming in. Okay. Oh, devil, you tried it. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, give me 1 second. I don't remember. But as you are going through these little warfares, you pray in tongues, and the person, the answer, what have you, it will come to you. When you have fasted, the answer will either come to you in the middle of the fast or immediately after. This may sound a little disgusting, but follow me. If you fast, and then when you eat, the first time you purge it out, meaning when you go to the bathroom and release it, you'll find that a quick answer will come immediately before or immediately after. 9 times out of 10, when you've fasted, you'll notice that you'll get an attack right when you feel that your stomach is ready for you to release what has been in your body, and you're purging that out. You'll get an attack. You get an attack usually right before, but once you release it, the attack stops. And the answers that you are seeking will come immediately after. Same as if you are frustrated and you've been sitting there frustrated, seeking the answers from the Lord. You sit there, you pray, and you start praying in tongues. Once you start praying in tongues, the person, the place, or the thing will come in and answer. Some prayers that we have prayed are going to take longer than that. But if you are in ordinance with the Lord, He's going to lead you into the answer pretty quickly, unless it's a big thing in which you've asked for. The things that I always find are the hardest to get to me are finances, especially if it's large sums of money. When I got my $12.75 thousand dollars, I had to wait on that money, and I was fought for about 2 months getting that money. But once I got it, we was Gucci, because I got a lot of stuff. The phone that I'm on right now, I got computer. I got a lot of stuff that I'd been praying to the Lord to release to me. And it allowed me to do a lot more work that I needed to get done at the time. So understand, you're going to go through the warfare, but it's part of being a Christian. And especially for those of us that have public platforms and we're doing the work of the Lord in these public places for ministry or for our public businesses, because a lot of people are marketplace ministers. Some won't go into those places and arenas, but I am a minister here, but I am a marketplace minister, meaning I have other things that I do that I still speak the Lord into. And for those of you, I'm going to give you this pro tip. If you are a business person and you are a Christian and you're like, I'm a Christian, but I want to go into business, I want you to look up C12 Group. This is a company that gives you parameters on how to make your business in alignment to your Christian values and how to incorporate Christian values into business. There's another thing. I got a PDF that I downloaded from these people online. I think it was free. It was either free or $35. But it was a download of how to structure your business for a Christian. Whether you're a podcaster, creative, any of those types of things. And I got a full I did a whole write-up on it. And I have that document somewhere on the back end of my computer. I gotta search for it. But, yeah. So, I'm a creative minister, marketplace minister. So, that's why I go hard about helping people when it comes down to creativity and ministry. Because I know the industries I'm cold to. But it's understanding these things that you have to be able to walk in faith. You have to be tested. You have to go through the warfare. You have to go through the warring in your faith as you growing into your purpose, releasing the things that you no longer need. I've heard this quote multiple times before. We may not like it, but it's true. You need to be able to war, and you must be willing to war for what matters, no matter what. For y'all women that are preparing for marriage, this is something that you really need to learn how to do. And I'm not talking about cutesy prayers. This is something I'm going to keep beating into you. I'm not talking about cutesy prayers. I started on cutesy prayers. I started on, Lord, can you cover him in the blood of Jesus? Cover him in what he does on a daily basis. Cover him in it. No, you need to go get the book. Prayers of, what is it? What is it? Ooh, devil, what are you doing? I know the name of this book. I look at the it's an acute prayer for marriage, but it's the 31-day devotional for the power of a praying wife. That's what it is. Read that. When I tell you the devil don't like that book, the devil don't like that book. Anytime I started to read those prayers, I would sit for an hour and I would pray that over my God ordained spouse. When I tell you, I immediately felt spiritual pushback. I would get exhaustedly tired when I tried to read that book, especially if I did it repetitively day after day. If I knew something was specific was going on and I need to war somehow for this man, the weight on my head when I started to pray those prayers, you gotta learn how to pray. There are some things that I sit with the Lord even this day. I say, I wish I had prayed a little bit harder back then. Because there's some things that the Lord has revealed to me about my God ordained spouse that he may not have had to go through if I was praying different. But I didn't know at the time. And I try not to blame myself for it because of the fact that the Lord didn't allow me to know. And I think he didn't allow me to know because of where I was. Where I was and how I would have prayed. Plus, I had a lot of people doing spiritual monitoring on me and where I was and who I was dealing with. I think he kept that part of the information secret because I was too close. And knowing what I know now, had I known it then when I was closer to where he was, man, me, the best I can give you is I know everybody is not liking her right now, but I think Beyonce obsessed in the last scene when she cussed that woman out on the phone. I'd have been that in the spirit. I'd be like, ain't none of y'all, ain't none of y'all, ain't none of y'all, ain't none of y'all. I'd have been going off in the spirit. I'd have been going off in the spirit. I'd have been going off in the natural. I'd have probably gone off in the spirit way harder than I would have in the natural, but I would have been seething, staring at certain people. I'm so glad I know what I know now in a different place. But we got to be out here because the enemy is trying to steal, kill, and destroy everything, every promise in every area. And the witchcraft is for real right now. Speaking of, those of y'all that do consecration during the new moon, do it. Especially depending on what it is that you're standing for. That's why I was dealing with a little bit of that last night. Okay. I prayed it off, but I ended up in a little bit of warfare last night. I think it was because I ate some chocolate that I wasn't supposed to eat before I started doing something. But, yeah. You gotta be cautious in your warfare. Be cautious. Be aware. I pray. Oh, I think that's what I was going to say. No, I didn't say that. Never mind. I already said it. You must be willing to consecrate yourself before the Lord. I'm going to do something on consecration. I really am. Because I actually have a full course on it. I was just looking at it in my back office on my computer. I created an entire course on consecrating thyself and prayer. So this ministry definitely going to get that. Because I wrote that back in 2018. I was sitting at Whole Foods. One day there, I was sitting on my little phone. I had a phone that was half the size of the one that I'm on right now. And I sat down there and I typed the whole thing out in a Word document. Thank God that you can download Word onto your phone. But sometimes you can't have it on other devices. But I got a tablet that's pretty nice size and I can download Word on here so I can type and read and do all that stuff on my tablet. But a lot of us are in a season that we're trying to get from our last season and put it in the past while we're preparing for the graduation into our next season as we walk in the spiritual faith and the testing, the droughts, and the experiences of the war as we are depending on God. Because it helps. A lot of this stuff helps you. Because remember, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus came so that we may have life and life more abundantly. Look at the areas the enemy is trying to steal from you, because that's the place that the Lord is looking to bless you in. But sometimes it's not the enemy that's trying to steal from you. What you mean? Sometimes it's not the enemy sometimes trying to steal from you. God is trying to bless you. So there will be moments where he himself will take things from you that are no longer serving you in the season that you're about to walk into. He will kill habits within you by circumcising your heart so that you can walk into the things in which he is trying to get you into. And he will destroy curses upon your family, your bloodline, and so on and so forth. We can get into that in this next video where I go into healing, when I talk about healing. Because, yeah, it's real out here. But we out here, we get ready to heal so that we can walk into the fullness of the blessing. But don't nobody want to talk, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Maybe what you thought was the enemy stealing was God. Maybe what you thought the enemy was killing was God dealing with your iniquities and sinful nature. Maybe what you thought was the enemy was God destroying something in you so he can give you life. Recall, it is in Ezekiel 36 and is it Ezekiel 36:26? No, it's Mark 8 and 36 is where God talks about you have to give your life for your life in order to receive. As a matter of fact, I can look that up. Let's see if I can do this without knocking myself out of what I was working on. It's alright. It's like I got these scriptures written down in my tablet, but sometimes I don't want to open it. For whomever will save his life shall lose it, but whoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel, same shall he save it. Sometimes y'all be trying to hold on to stuff that the Lord's trying to snatch away from you, that are part of the life that you're in now, but can't go into the life you're going into. There are things that I think about, I seriously am thinking about right now, that cannot go into my marriage. See, I'm used to the life that I've been living, having poverty, having only just enough for what I need, living with the people with the wrong mindsets. I'm about to go into a marriage that the Lord is showing me. And I'm going to be in plentifulness. I'm going to be with a person that loves me. I'm going to be in a place. I gotta let go of certain things. And certain people that have certain mindsets that can't go with me. There are some that going to have the ability, have the access. Because remember, in Psalms 23, they get to come to the table. But they ain't going to get to eat off of it. Meaning, you get to come to the celebration. But you ain't going to live that life. Because you didn't do the work that I did in order to get there. So, that's all I have to say. Much love, faith, peace, and blessings to you. I hope this blessed you.